we take a moment now to follow the sounding bell into the silence.
In this sacred moment, we take a deep breath and let all that's come before us melt away. We sink into our chairs and extend our spine, and we gather in sacred community to remember whose and who we are and be in the presence within. I know that we are an individualized expression of the One, deserving of all kindness, respect, and our good. There is only one thing going on here, and it is all the Creator in many sizes, shapes, forms, and colors. And the Creator enjoys all of His creation. I give thanks for my awareness and attunement to the promptings of the Spirit of wisdom. And I claim my spiritual understanding now. I give the thanks for this space and Reverend Diana's lesson on touching the living Buddha. And I know that I am accepting, responsive to these words, and the right and perfect message will come to each one of us, so that we can move forward with confidence, with the Spirit, into our next right steps. I know this prayer has already done its work and is continuing to do its work. I call it done. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. Aho.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So good to have you here with us this morning. If you're new with us here online or in the house, my name is Reverend Diana Johnson. I'm the pastor and spiritual director for Mystic Heart Spiritual Center. We're an independent interfaith community. We teach universal principles and practical spirituality. We open our doors and welcome, trusting that you'll be led to the guidance and wisdom that dwells in your own mystic heart. So we begin our Taizé meditative portion of our morning by joining our voices in musical prayer.
Welcome home to your mystic heart. Lay aside whatever came before. Let your own intuition start to guide you to heaven's door. Welcome home to your mystic heart. Lay aside whatever came before. to guide you to heaven's door. I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love. I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love. I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love. I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love. Surrendering in love. Surrendering in love.
Settling into this one perfect moment, we take a moment to breathe. To bring awareness to the breath. Following it in and feeling the life flowing into our being. And following it out, letting go of any tension. With every breath in, feeling the body come to life. And with every breath out, letting everything go. In this sacred moment, there is only the breath. There is only life unfolding. There is only this moment. As we settle into this present moment, we give thanks for our deep connection with all of life. And for our awareness that we're connected to all that is. This is what is meant by global community. Not only our human family that is spread across the earth, but also the more than human creatures, the plant beings and rock beings, the sand that covers the beaches, and the waves that rise and fall on the shores. All that is seen and that which is not. That which is known and that which will never be known. All connected at the deepest level. All teeming with the life of God. Shining with the light of Spirit. Take a moment to sense the light shining in and radiating from everything that exists. Notice how there is no border between us. one light melding into the next. We are one light, expressing as infinite diversity. As we take the time to feel and know our oneness, we grow in compassion, empathy, understanding, and love. We come to understand that every thought, word, and action matters. And we become more mindful with each passing day. This month, our contemplations are centered in living Buddha, living Christ. And this morning, we reflect on what it means to touch the living Buddha. In the Buddhist tradition, the living Buddha is the Buddha nature that dwells within each one of us, within every being, within all that is. In a more progressive Christianity, we might call it the living Christ. Mysticism might refer to it as Christ consciousness or the divine spark. Whatever we might call it, we long to touch it, to experience and express our own holiness, our own sacred nature, our own connection to the one source. A Buddhist practitioner begins the journey through meditation, becoming grounded in the practice. She then sets out on the devotional path of taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Let's spend some time reflecting on what it means to take refuge in these three jewels. Taking refuge is the act of returning to a place of sanctuary or shelter to find safety, peace, protection. In this context, the Buddha is the personification of an awakened being, a person who knows unshakable inner freedom, peace, and compassion. It represents not only the historical Siddhartha, but also all the great teachers who have embodied deep wisdom and compassion and had a positive influence on the world around them. The Buddha is a symbol that represents the end of suffering in all of its forms and the infinite possibility and potential for awakening that lives in each of us. The Dharma is the path that leads to the realization of our Buddha nature or divine nature. The Dharma teaches us about change or impermanence. It reveals our connectedness, dissolves our fear and agitation, and increases our understanding of what is true. The Dharma is our heart's commitment to all that is healing and liberating. And it is not a commitment we make just once. Rather, we make it countless times in a single day. When we are generous with our time, our attention, and our love, we embody the Dharma. When we resolve to be truthful, to treasure a clear mind, and to engage the world with respect and appreciation, we live the Dharma. The Sangha, or the community of the wise, can be understood on at least 3 levels. The community of those who are awakened and embody wisdom are referred to as the Noble Sangha. They inspire and encourage us, touch us with their unwavering commitment to make the world a better place. The Sangha is also the monastic order of monks and nuns, people who demonstrate simplicity and integrity in their lives. Finally, the communities and relationships of trust and integrity that we nurture in our own lives is also the Sangha. Genuine Sangha is any relationship that treasures harmony and practices the wisdom of interconnectedness. Taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha is an inner journey of coming home to what is true. It is a profound act of devotion and inner commitment to a clear mind, an open heart, and a way of engaging with life that is pervaded with integrity, respect, and compassion. To a life of unreserved wakefulness, to bringing all that is truthful and healing into every aspect of our lives. This means that thoughts, words, and actions are checked. Are they true? Are they kind? Are they appropriate? Are they timely? We learn to speak and listen without an agenda. Taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha is touching the living Buddha.
In the Lotus Sutra, Shakyamuni Buddha teaches that Buddhahood is inherent in everything and in everyone. Already present in all of creation, the infinite wisdom, courage, compassion, and peace that the Buddha demonstrated in his lifetime are already within us, fully available to us as we awaken to them. The term Buddha simply means awakened one. Siddhartha became the Buddha when he attained enlightenment beneath the Bo tree. 5 centuries later, Rabbi Yeshua of Nazareth would become the Christ, the Anointed One, after his 40 days of fasting and prayer in the wilderness. Both of them simply revealed what was already within them. The Buddha compared our Buddha nature to a gold nugget buried in dirt, hidden by layers of delusion, who the world tells us we are, what society tells us is important. But unlike the constantly changing mirage the world presents, our Buddha nature remains undefiled, pure gold, birthless, deathless, indestructible. Our Buddhahood is not meant to be an escape from life challenges. We do not seek enlightenment to transcend these difficulties. Rather, it compels us to actively engage with life, to be the heart of compassion, the voice of wisdom, the peaceful presence that helps alleviate suffering in the world. Within each of us nestles the seed of enlightenment, the awakening to our own divine nature, our Christ consciousness, an inexhaustible source of loving kindness, peace, poise, and power. As we share our 3 minutes of silent, sacred meditation this morning, I invite us to water that seed, to find that nugget of pure gold within, to connect with our divine source, our true essence, and to allow the gifts of Spirit to flow forth into us, through us, and then out from us into our world. O Blessed One, thank you for this gift of shared communion with and contemplation. Thank you for the divine gifts of peace, wisdom, and compassion, and for the courage to share these blessings and help our siblings who are suffering. May we always remember that we are all one, and may we never forget who and whose we are. All mystical traditions teach that at the level of our divine essence, we were never born, we can never die. We are co-eternal with Spirit and one with all of creation. If any being suffers, none of us is truly free. And that is why we practice compassion and loving kindness. As Reverend Diana continues her Taizé meditation this morning, we allow her words to reveal to us our own divine nature, our Buddhahood, our Christ consciousness, and we find ourselves touching the living Buddha.
We come to see that the actor is not separate from the action. They become one. In all our actions, we can let the Buddha nature, the Christ consciousness or divine spark, be present and act for us. Join me in meditation as we practice melding the human and the divine. Bringing awareness back to the breath. Mindful of my in-breath, from the beginning to the end, I breathe in. And mindful of my out-breath, from the beginning to the end, I breathe out. Enjoying deeply the movement of my in-breath, I breathe in. Enjoying deeply the movement of my out-breath, I breathe out. Breathing in, I let my Buddha nature do the breathing. Breathing out, I let the living Buddha within do the breathing. Breathing in, the Buddha is breathing. Breathing out, I enjoy the breathing. Breathing in, the Christ within me is breathing. Breathing out, I enjoy the breathing. The Buddha is breathing. I enjoy the breathing. The Christ is breathing. I enjoy the breathing. Breathing in, the Buddha is sitting. Breathing out, I enjoy the sitting. The Christ is sitting. I enjoy the sitting. Breathing in, the Buddha is the breathing. Breathing out, I am the breathing. Buddha is the breathing. I am the breathing. Christ is the breathing. I am the breathing. Breathing in, there is only the breathing. Breathing out, there is only the breathing. Only the sitting, only the breathing. Breathing in, there is no sitter. Breathing out, there is no breather. Breathing in, there is peace in the sitting. Breathing out, there is joy in the breathing. Peace is the sitting. Joy is the breathing. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. There is only one thing here, and that is life, breather and breath, sitter and sitting, actor and action, creator and creation. Each of us is an outward expression of life, of all that is. Each one containing the Buddha nature, able in any moment that we choose to touch the living Buddha, to let our sacred selves lead the way and live through us. In this holy moment of devotional prayer, I speak these words for myself, knowing that they are true for all who are listening. I take refuge in the Buddha. I find sanctuary in acknowledging my capacity to awaken, to become one who knows unshakable inner freedom, peace, and compassion. I take refuge in the Dharma. I find sanctuary in the path that leads to the realization of my own divinity, that helps me to accept change, that reveals my connectedness with all that is, that dissolves suffering and increases my understanding of what is true. I take refuge in the Sangha. I find sanctuary in those beings who are awakened and wise, who inspire and encourage me, who touch me with their unwavering commitment to make the world a better place, and who inspire me with the simplicity of their lives. I find sanctuary in those who set before me examples of integrity and harmony, so that I may follow in their footsteps. Thank you, ground of being, for this beautiful day and the countless blessings it brings. Thank you for this beloved community and the support and comfort it offers to so many. And thank you for this opportunity to come together in meditation and prayer, so that we might walk the straight and narrow path in the week to come. Trusting in the power of prayer, I rest now, assured that it has done its good work, and knowing that each prayer is answered even before it is spoken, I let go and let God. As together we say, and so it is. Amen. We can begin now to gently return our awareness to this life, to our bodies, maybe wiggling some fingers, or gently massaging the face, moving your feet, becoming aware of our senses and the sounds in the room. And then opening the eyes and taking in whatever is before you. Feel free, if you wish, to look around and say a good morning. Look at who's celebrating here with us this morning. This is at least one branch of your spiritual family, one of your support systems. Some of the people that care about you and are there for you. As we close our Taizé meditation, we offer the opportunity for you to share of your financial gifts and good, if you choose to do that this morning. If you're joining us online, you can go to our website, mysticheart.org, and you'll find a donate button and a mailing address. We thank you in advance for any gifts that you bring, whether financial or otherwise. We acknowledge and give thanks for the infinite abundance of Spirit, and we're living this day in the overflow of your heart's giving. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you all. Please enjoy Open My Eyes from Carl Anthony.
Open my eyes, let in the light again. Open my eyes, let in the light again. Open my eyes, fill them with joy again. Open my eyes, fill them with joy again. Heal my heart, let me begin again. Heal my heart, let me begin again. Open my eyes, open my eyes again. Open my eyes, open my eyes. Take a deep breath, breathe in the strength again. Take a deep breath, breathe in the strength again. Open my eyes, open my eyes again. Open my eyes, open my eyes. Heal my heart, let me begin again. Heal my heart, let me begin again. Open my eyes, open my eyes again. Open my eyes, open my eyes. Open my eyes, open my eyes again. Open my eyes, open my eyes. Open my eyes, open my eyes. Open my eyes, open my eyes.
Wow, what a song.
It's beautiful. I do the prayer. So we say thank you for these gifts given of spirit through your hands and your hearts, and we receive them with gratitude and a pledge to grow them and to use them in the best ways possible. So it is. So feel free this morning, if you'd like, to grab something to drink next door and come on back for a 10:30 conversation, or go on your way. Have a beautiful Sunday. We thank you for being here this morning. And Again, we have some gifts from Gary's Garden up front, so help yourselves if you'd like, Gary Solberg.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Gary.
We will sing you on your way with a soul's blessing.
May your soul always find what it's looking for. May your heart always lead the way. May you live in peace and harmony. And may love always fill your day. May your path be strewn with happiness. May success find you everywhere. May you always embrace compassion and grace, and may God always answer your prayers. May you always embrace compassion and grace, and may God always answer your prayers.
Thank you for being here. It's a beautiful Sunday.
Good morning, and I am humbly standing before you in this next phase of our service, and knowing that we are one with Spirit and that we are individualized expressions of the One, worthy of all goodness and kindness and respect. And we're filled with beauty, love, joy, peace, and compassion and cooperation. So with that, we join together in conscious conversation, and we bring our wisdom as we talk about touching the Buddha and how that affects us and what we think about that. And in this time, I know we will hear what is important for us, each individually, to bring us into more harmony and more fulfillment. And I offer this prayer to the universal mind of God, knowing it is done. I call it done, and together we say, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Chris. That was a beautiful opening for our time together today. Good morning and welcome, or welcome back. Welcome to those who are joining online. If you're new with us online this morning, my name's Reverend Diana Johnson, and I'm pastor and spiritual director for Mystic Heart Spiritual Center. We're an independent interfaith community that teaches universal principles and practical spirituality. So we open our doors in welcome, trusting that you'll be led to the guidance and wisdom of your own mystic heart. We begin our conversation this morning with some joyful musical prayer. So feel free to sing along, dance, whatever you feel like doing.
Welcome to the Mystic Heart. Join the celebration. Lift your voice and sing your part. Make this affirmation. Spirit made us family with loving hearts to share. Together we are joyfully practicing the possible through prayer. And everything's possible. So welcome to the Mystic Heart. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey. sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
All right, so join us in this Buddhist chant. Upbeat Buddhist chant. May I be happy.
May I be happy.
May I be peaceful.
May I be peaceful.
May I be free.
May I be free.
May I be free.
May I be free.
May my friends be happy.
May my friends be happy.
May my friends be peaceful.
May my friends be peaceful.
May my friends be free. May my friends
Be
be
free.
May they be free.
May they be free.
If anyone has hurt me,
Has hurt me.
I now freely forgive.
Freely forgive.
I have hurt anybody.
I have hurt anybody.
May they forgive me now.
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 May I have no judgment.
May I have no judgment.
May I have no hatred.
May I have no hatred.
May I have no enemy.
May I have no enemies.
May I be free.
May I be free.
If anyone has hurt me,
If anyone has hurt me,
freely forgive.
I now freely forgive.
I have hurt anybody.
If I have hurt
May they
anybody,
forgive me now.
may they forgive me now.
I forgive myself right now.
I forgive myself right now.
May all beings be happy.
May all beings be happy.
May all beings be peaceful.
May all beings be peaceful.
May all beings be free.
May all beings be free.
May they be free.
May they be free.
May we all 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 be free. May we all be free. So we begin our creative journey this morning, calling upon the full power of both mind and heart, engaging the body, and joining with one another in the imaginal realm, in deep visioning, in service to the creation of a love-soaked world. See and feel with me now a world in which all beings live from their highest potential, from kindness and generosity, from peace and compassion, from joy and beauty. In this world of our creation, all people honor, respect, and care for one another and for all of the beings that share this beautiful planet with us, and for the planet herself. We remember that we're connected to all of life, that we're dependent on the planet to sustain us, and we're dependent on one another for a sense of belonging and connection, and for our very welfare. By aligning every thought, word, and action with our vision, we are creating a world in which all people are well fed, have the safety and comfort of home, and a deep sense of purpose and belonging. A world in which health, education, and healthy relationships are well supported by systems that are grounded in integrity and health and wholeness. Valuing every being for its uniqueness, we practice living truly authentic lives where vulnerability is celebrated. There's nothing to defend, no need to protect. The world that we are building is free of hatred and free of violence because of who we are being. We recognize and appreciate the abundance that surrounds us. Greed is a thing of the past, and generosity is the norm. All beings gratefully receive all that's needed to live a physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually abundant life. The planet and its beings thrive like never before, as we recognize the sacred in everyone and in everything. We walk in reverence, in humility, and in gratitude for all that we've been given. We're creating a new world moment by moment, aligning our actions to our vision, living these changes first in our own lives, with our families and our neighbors and our friends. And as we do, one neighborhood, one community at a time, a new world is being born. In the process of profound change that is unfolding at this time, this beloved community stands as an open and welcoming place for all who seek support and belonging and a sense of family. By the power of our deep faith and our inspired action, this prayer is acted upon, answered, even as it is being spoken. For Spirit knows our heart's desire and our intention, in full expectation of its graceful unfolding. And with the deepest humility and gratitude, we release our word to the creative power and intelligence that I call God, to the one that gets it done. And so it is.
So it is.
Amen. Well, good morning. Thank you for being here this morning. It looks like the slightly decreased temperatures are calling people outdoors to the lake or something. May they all have a great day. And may we enjoy the blessings of this conversation this morning. So our theme this morning, or this month, has been Living Buddha, Living Christ. And the topic of conversation for the morning has been touching the living Buddha. So this morning during Taizé, we spent time reflecting on the idea that everything that exists has the capacity within it to bring forth the living Buddha, that it exists within us. And it exists not just within all humans, but it exists within all things, all beings, all that is. We compared it to what a Christian might call the Christ within, or the Christ consciousness, or mystic might call it divine spark. It's a similar idea. It's inherent within each one of us, and we did a meditation to help us meld our two aspects, our human and our divine, so that we might more readily bring it forth, so that it is that Buddha within that can act as us in the world, that we can turn it over, we can surrender to that power. Last week during our conversation, we took a look at impermanence and the truth that says everything in the physical realm is always changing. Nothing stays the same. We talked about how attachment creates suffering and how it's really important, if we're going to allow that divinity within us to live as us in the world, to put down that attachment to what we think we know, to what we think we need, to what we think. Plain and simple, to what we think. So this morning I'd like to extend that conversation in a couple different directions. one important concept in the Buddhist tradition is that in order to avoid getting stuck on our journey, which brings suffering into our lives, we have to let go of our notions. We have to let go of what we think we know, especially the things we think we know for certain, the things we're the most sure about. It teaches us that our knowledge, Buddhism teaches that our knowledge is an obstacle to our understanding and our growth. Our knowledge is an obstacle. It gets in our way. What do you think that means? Our knowledge is our... Speak to that a little bit. How is our knowledge an obstacle to our growth? Lucinda?
As soon as we know something, something different is impossible.
Okay.
So, like on a scientific realm. So, as long as they know that the Earth is flat, it's going to take centuries for them to come around to the idea that it's actually round.
Okay. So as soon as we're certain about something, we know something for sure, then nothing else is possible.
Exactly.
When you think you've got the answers, then everybody else is wrong.
When you think you have the answer, that automatically makes everybody else wrong. David?
That's my story and I'm sticking to it.
That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Boy, that's a stuck place, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I know. I try to give others.
No, I need him.
Oh, Chris, he needs you. I'm going, I know, but I try to give others a chance. Funny.
Nice
Okay.
example.
Is that your hand or is that
Massaging my neck.
massaging your neck? All right.
Perhaps our judgments,
Okay.
how
So,
we can judge a circumstance without knowing a backstory, so we really don't know.
right.
We think we know.
We think we know, and so then we make our decisions based on what we think we know, and it may be completely off base. Yeah, David?
Well, isn't that kind of the point of quantum theory or quantum physics? That it changes as you are in a different situation to observe it?
Right, the observer effect.
Yeah.
What is happening changes according to who's observing it,
Yeah.
And what they believe is going to happen.
and what they believe or expect
Yeah.
to happen.
Right.
Yeah. So when we do this, there is no room for anything else to happen. There's no room for new ideas in our minds. There's no room for new insights to show up. So it's an obstacle. It stops us. So Buddhist master Thich Nhat Hanh says that when you climb a ladder, unless you abandon the lower step, you will not be able to climb to a higher one. And that knowledge is like that. If you're not ready to let go of your knowledge, you cannot get a deeper knowledge of the same thing.
It's a great Buddhist story that talks about that. The student says, I've studied for 5 years and I'm ready to take your tuition here. And his master says, that's good, you know, so you've learned a lot. Yes, I know a lot. And he says, can I pour you a cup of tea before we get started? He pours the tea and it starts overflowing and the master's still pouring and still pouring and still pouring. And he's saying, well, it's just like you're so full of knowledge, you can't take any more knowledge, just like the cup can't take any more tea.
Yeah. When we're so full of what we think we already know, there's just no room for anything else. And we miss out. So what group of people in our modern world know this and practice it better than anyone else?
Children.
Is there? Oh, children.
Children? Yeah, children seem, when they're young, to be open to whatever's coming. Who else knows and practices this?
Monks?
Monks. You would expect that they seek to do that. There's something even more prevalent.
Animals?
Huh?
Animals?
Animals? What about scientists?
Oh, yes, that's true.
So if a scientist says this is how it is. It's sure and certain. It'll always be this way. What happens to our scientific development, to our technological development, to our advances in medicine, to our advances in aeronautics? If a scientist stops questioning and closes down to new information and new knowledge,
It stops everything.
it stops our development on the physical plane. Scientists are forever looking at what's next. They know what they think they know for now, but it's always a for now. This is what we know. And they're always open to, and what else might be true.
It's theory, it's scientific theory.
Right, they're
Scientific method.
theories. They're not,
It's
Right,
it's not, it's
an
not,
absolute.
there's no dogma attached to it.
right,
That's
yeah.
the ideal.
That's the idea,
And-
yeah.
And it's pretty much followed.
Right, yeah,
Things are constantly changing and evolving.
right. Everything in the
Always
in the
process.
material, always changing and evolving.
Well, then that means that people who practice an open and curious mind for what's only what I know now, but there may be more. So it's the curiosity and
Right.
the search.
So maintaining that curiosity, scientists are good at maintaining that curiosity, continuing to search for what is new, for what might also be true or beyond what we believe is true now. So if our top scientists are willing to put their knowledge aside in the interest of looking for what is more or what else is happening or for more complete answers, why aren't we?
Because you get comfortable with the status quo.
Okay?
And your preconceived ideas and concepts provide some sort of comfort.
Okay.
And so you're used to it. You think that by having certain concepts that you find that are not dynamic, but are static,
Mm-hmm.
you have some control over
Oh,
your
okay.
life and over our existence. And that's a real, I think for me it's a real issue. I'm sure for many people, it's the
Mhm.
comfort that is derived from preconceived or ideas and concepts.
Right. So that's two-pronged there, and we can talk about both of them as we move around. There's comfort in thinking we know what we know, and we feel like we have some control in our lives because of it. Michael?
Our egos don't want to let us think that what we know is not all there is, because
Right.
it's our knowing.
That's right. Our ego says and wants to say and know, I'm right.
Yep.
I'm right. I know what's happening here. There's safety in that. David?
And our friend Jamie tells us that ego is edging out God.
Yes. Edging out God. E-G-O. Edging God out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yes.
Yeah, so there's something in our human selves, in our, we want to say our smaller or our less evolved selves, that is very self-righteous and wants to be right. And it's because that also brings us a sense of comfort, safety,
Control.
and control. Lucinda and then Chris.
I think there's another part of it though.
Uh-huh.
It goes back to that quote that you and I both like so much, is about fear.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we're afraid of who we are instead of, just, how great we are.
Mm-hmm.
And so we allow our fear to, and I'm sure that's probably ego too,
Yeah.
to convince us that where we are is where we're supposed to be, and we
Right.
know all this stuff.
Yeah, so fear. There's fear at the basis of all of these things we're talking about. And within that too is a fear of, well, if what I know about me isn't what's true, maybe something greater is, and then what?
On and on we
Oh
go.
my gosh, then I'm being called to step into something bigger in my life. Maybe I don't feel like I want to do anything bigger in my life.
So I bury myself
So I bury myself.
where
David?
So is that kind of the
Oh, I'm sorry.
difference between Newtonian logic and quantum logic? Newtonians, you figured out it's a fixed thing, it's not going to change?
Well, I don't know if that's, I don't know if that's strictly Newtonian, but it might be. We could explore that a little bit. But quantum certainly says
Right.
anything is possible.
Everything changes.
Everything is
depending
possible
on
all at once.
Where you're at, where you're looking,
Yeah.
what you're doing. Yeah.
Right, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Chris?
I think another piece of why we do that is simply mental laziness.
Mm,
If we have something figured out, we can just
Right.
put that thing we've got figured out on a shelf, and we don't ever have to think about it again,
Right.
because we know what it is. I know that person is selfish, or I know this person is generous, or I know this person is this or that, and they're all on the shelf there, and I don't
Right.
have to think about them, and they, in my mind, they never change, even though
right,
in real life they're changing all the time.
yeah. So, yeah, it can be a mental laziness. Yes, Sean?
Yeah, along with Chris's observation, I read an article on childhood development, early childhood development, particularly brain development, and young children have a propensity for taking in all this information and not making preconceived ideas. on
Right.
things. But the adult brain, as the brain gets more used to things, it starts making evaluations, and
Mm-hmm.
it starts to categorize things. So you're
Right.
stuck in a box in a way.
Yeah.
So the idea of like thinking outside the box refers to that open-mindedness,
Right,
whereas we kind of have a tendency to lose that. People do.
yeah. And our school system, until fairly recently, has reinforced that. This is how it works. We sit in rows, and this is what we learn, and history is about names and dates and people's, instead of what led to what and why.
Yeah.
But more recently, our school systems are opening up to critical thinking models and looking at, history as a story and looking at causes and effects. All of that is moving into our school system finally, but,
In a way, it's kind of like artificial intelligence. The brain, as it gets developed, it sees certain situations and experiences, and it has a preconceived notion of what that usually turns out to be.
right,
So
yeah,
99% of the time, yes, you can predict this and it'll turn out to be this.
mhm,
But that 1% is
Right.
what's freeing, what makes, it's creativity in a way.
yes,
And one of the arguments against artificial intelligence is that, it's not, it misses something. There's
Right.
something missing there. They have their programs doing artificial intelligence, writing music, and yeah, it sounds okay, but there's something missing.
right. The human
Right.
Soul.
creative
Yeah.
soul,
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Because you have to remember that with artificial intelligence, it's still human beings that are creating it. You're never going to get beyond the fact that human beings are creating it. And so I don't believe it would ever be able to just take over and go off. Because I think that divine spark of creativity that we are, that is connected to our divinity, is not present. That self perpetuating creativity is not present. David?
So it's only as intelligent as the person who programmed.
Right, exactly.
So at least
So you
we're
can
wrong.
mimic, a very intelligent and creative person can mimic an awful lot of human qualities and traits in AI. But there's still the limit. There's still a limit to it.
Help, Mr. Wizard.
Help, Mr. Wizard.
There's no soul to it.
There's no what?
No soul.
Yeah.
There's no soul there.
Right, that's
Yeah.
exactly what is
Right.
missing.
So the Christian tradition teaches a similar concept. in the book of 1 Corinthians, Paul says, anyone who claims to know all the answers doesn't really know very much. This is all through the book of 1 Corinthians and all throughout the Bible. And the Buddha taught that knowledge is an obstacle, that as we let go of our notions and what we think we know, we grow in understanding. So do you think that that's true? That it takes letting go of what we think we know to grow in understanding? And how does that work?
I think I found out when I keep looking for what I thought, because I didn't think what I was taught was the truth. So I was on this path to find the truth, whatever that was. So I kept searching. So I don't think I'm on that path anymore, but I'm open to all the infinite possibilities.
Okay.
And that's where I am now, instead of trying to find the truth.
Okay. So as we open to more possibility and we're able to recognize all of the possibilities that exist, we can build a greater understanding of what actually is. David?
It seems sometimes to me like it's like a computer,
Mm-hmm.
because we only have so much storage space in the old noggin, and unless we let some of the old stuff go, there's not room for the...
Right. Yeah. If you're all filled up with what you already know, like the teacup is already full of the tea,
Right.
there's just nowhere to store anything new. Chris?
I think that understanding leads to wisdom so that more nourishing choices are enabled to be made.
Okay. How do you define wisdom?
Wisdom, I think, is really knowing yourself first.
Okay.
And knowing how you're affected by different things in another and examine if there's still truth. So you find the way that you want to be in the world
Okay.
leads to the actions that you will take, and it comes from experience, and you gain knowledge, and out of that you gain wisdom, and then you proceed forward, is what I think.
So wisdom is sort of an embodied knowledge.
Okay,
And
that's a
I
good
mean,
way to
is that
say that.
Sort
would
of what
work.
you're pointing to?
Mhm.
So you've gained the knowledge, you've explored, you've taken in all of these things, and those things that you actually experience as true become your embodiment of that. It's what you're living in the world. Chris?
When I was in public education, I went to a teacher's workshop, and one of the presenters shared an interesting insight that I took with me all the way through my teaching career. He says, your students won't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
Because those are two different functions of your heart-mind.
Right.
You know, you might say the caring is in the right brain and the knowing is in the left brain. But, you know, if you're stuck in your intellect, your heart can't
Right.
get a word in edgewise.
Yeah. For me, it feels like my knowledge is in my head,
Yeah.
and my caring and my knowing. For me, knowledge and knowing are different.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So my knowledge is in my head, my knowing is in my heart.
You get gnosis.
Yeah. Yeah. So, where am I? Oh, Buddha went on to say that only as we grow in understanding can we also grow in faith and in love. So it takes being open to the new to grow our understanding, and it takes greater understanding to increase our faith and our capacity to love. So what do you think he means by that, the Buddha meant by that? How do those pieces fit together? Growing our understanding and growing our faith and our capacity for love.
Well, when we see somebody whose behavior or what they're saying doesn't make any sense to us, we tend to judge them.
Okay?
You know, but if we grow in understanding, you know, what's it like to be you, then that allows us to have some faith that that person maybe really is trying to do the best that they can
Okay.
with where they're at.
And perhaps faith that they are on their own unique path and that whatever's unfolding is really meant for them at this time. Yeah. Michael and then Lucinda.
And I think by doing that, your compassion grows.
Okay.
And where there's compassion, there has to be love.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Lucinda.
I think at the beginning of all of it, you have to open.
Mm-hmm.
Allow yourself to see possibilities, allow yourself to acknowledge that maybe there's more that you could be seeing, doing, feeling, and that you could be releasing.
So being open, and so we're right back to not knowing absolutely that you know what's going on here. David?
Well, it seems like until you offer it to yourself, you can't share it with others.
Okay. So until you offer it to yourself, you can't share it with others.
You've taught me a lot, like you're my mentor. And I think one time you and I were talking and you said that the more you know, the less you know. And that was the biggest nugget you ever gave me. Because I really know nothing.
I know nothing.
And when I got to that point, it made my life so much easier, because when I start thinking, well, I'm God and I should be able, then that's in my ego and that doesn't
Right.
work.
As soon as you know that you really don't know anything for certain, you are completely open to all possibility. You're completely open to insight. You're completely open, as Lucinda was saying, the need to be completely open. And it takes a recognition that in our humanity, in our own ego, in our brains, even in our hearts and our feelings sometimes, because emotions and feelings can be very reactive and can guide us into places that are not actually true also. So, the Buddha taught that faith is a living thing, and it has to be in a cycle of growth. It should always be growing. That new discoveries bring greater understanding, as we've been talking about, and in turn, greater understanding brings greater faith and capacity for deeper love, a deeper self-givingness, an ability to give of ourselves. He also taught that greater understanding requires concentration. Concentration. What do you suppose he meant by that?
I think it means, what comes to my mind immediately is meditation.
Okay.
Concentration, meditation, try to concentrate on it, on your practice.
Okay.
Consistency and discipline.
Consistency and discipline. So he also taught that just as concentration feeds our understanding, so does mindfulness feed our concentration. But aren't those two things the same, concentration and mindfulness?
Maybe it's like a nickel, it's got heads or tails,
Okay,
the same coin.
all right. Two sides of the same coin, maybe?
To me, it speaks to awareness.
Okay, awareness. Which one or both?
They're both.
Okay.
If you have a mindfulness and a concentration, you're in a deep state of awareness.
Okay.
Concentration is a focused awareness.
Okay. So concentrate from the Latin means to bring toward the center. That's what the word concentrate means, to bring toward the center. And mindful means awareness, to be aware or conscious, to be mindful. So it feels to me like it could be said that concentration is the act of giving your conscious attention, and mindfulness is the awareness that that's what you're doing So one is the act, one is an awareness, maybe.
So it's kind of like a magnifying glass, huh?
Yeah,
You concentrate it all,
right,
and you bring that energy, that power alive right there in
Right.
that spot.
yeah.
You know I like magnifying glasses.
So the Buddha taught that first we become mindful, that we become aware of whatever it is we're doing. Whatever it is we're thinking, if we're judging someone, if we're just breathing, if we're walking, if we're sipping tea, if we're getting angry. Whatever it is we're doing, that mindfulness is about being aware that that's what's happening. And then concentration is the act of putting our attention where we want it to be. So, oh, this is where I am. I want to be over here instead, or I want to be where I am. That's concentration, focusing on the act of focus. Yes, Chris.
It reminds me of how many times I've meant to get on the freeway. And I've gone through that roundabout and I'm headed north
That's
on
called
Bocelli
spaced out.
without,
Right.
just autopilot.
No mindfulness,
No
no
mindfulness.
concentration.
Out the window.
Yeah, that roundabout is tricky.
Fragmented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
So-
George Jetsoning it.
Right. So from a Buddhist perspective, mindfulness leads us to concentration, which leads us to understanding, which then leads us to the potential for a greater faith and a deeper love. And in order for any of this to happen, we first have to put aside what we think we know.
Absolutely.
And
No
open.
judgment.
No judgment, no expectation, no certainty that things might be different than what we think they are. Chris?
It's beginner's mind.
Beginner's mind. Yes.
What's that, allowing, accepting, appreciating, the A, is it the 4 A's? I can't remember all
I
of them.
think so. Allowing, accepting, appreciating, acknowledging, appreciating, maybe? Yeah, I think that's what it is. Chris?
I was just thinking, it reminds me of this story that Jesus told you must become like a child's mind, or
Right.
become like a child
You must
in order
become,
to enter the kingdom.
you must become like a child in order to enter the kingdom. Beginner's mind in Buddhism. Inviting, when we sit in prayer and meditation, we're inviting something new to come through, right? We're inviting a deeper insight, a greater awareness, a deeper peace to come through us. The Christian tradition might call this inviting the still small voice to be present, listening for God's guidance. Or the mystical tradition refers to it as sometimes consent to the God within. That centering prayer talks about the consent to the God within. What do you think that could mean, consent to God within?
I guess surrender is what came to mind.
Okay, so surrender. Inviting new insight. It's like, asking a question. What's going on here? Speak to me. And then being quiet enough
To hear
and
the
willing
answer.
to listen. First listen, then hear and receive, and then give thanks for, even if we don't like the answer we got, which is difficult sometimes. Lucinda?
Well, I was just gonna add another A word, being willing to accept
Accept, yes.
the message even if we don't agree with it.
Allow and accept and acknowledge and appreciate. Bob?
And Buddha's had another A word, he'd always advise people, be awake.
Be awake. That's right, wake up. African American community, stay woke.
Stay woke.
That's the thing. It's
No snoozing?
no snoozing. So, in this practice that's called centering prayer in the mystic traditions, what they really mean by giving consent to God within, it does have to do with surrender and inviting the voice of spirit to speak. but they define it as allowing God to pray in me. So I'm not the one praying. I am the open receptacle, and I'm inviting God to pray in me, to pray through me. Chris?
It's like you were saying in the meditation during Taizé, the Buddha nature is breathing through me.
The Buddha nature is breathing through
God
me.
is praying through me and as
Right.
me.
Yeah. Yeah, did those who were here, did you enjoy that meditation?
Oh, I loved
this
it.
That was
morning?
excellent.
I
It was-
thought it was
It was dynamite.
beautiful. I adapted it. I found it somewhere, but I adapted it to suit our purposes. So this is an invitation to ask God to pray in me. It's an invitation to remove the barriers within me that allow grace to flow. So opening up the barriers, the obstacles, opening the flow and allowing grace to flow through me, through my life. And being open, as you said again, and receptive to infinite possibility. Really clearing the way, both in mind and in heart. David?
So I always felt kind of like prayer was asking for what you would want to receive,
Mm-hmm.
and meditation is receiving it as the antenna.
There are two schools on that. Half the people feel that way and half feel just the opposite.
Oh, well, as long as we're in balance.
Right.
that's all it takes.
That the meditation is the guided place and the conversation where you're guided, and then the prayer is the act of listening. So it depends on which school that you, and either, they're both right? Yeah. Either one is right or wrong.
There you go.
Yeah. So as I give, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, then there's one more step, and that's responding.
Then responding,
The
yes,
response, or the embodiment.
yes. Yeah, so if we don't take in, listen, hear, give thanks for the insights we're getting, and then change our behavior if necessary, or not change our behavior if necessary, if we're not taking it fully into action, then our process is incomplete. We can't change, our lives can't change, our health and wellness can't change, our relationships can't change, and our world can't change. Because our world is going to change through our hands and feet and hearts.
Inspiration without application is hallucination.
Inspiration without application is hallucination. Yes, that's Ernest Holmes. I think I'm going to move right to there. Let's see here. So as I give consent for God to pray in me, I begin to see new possibilities and gain new insights, deeper understanding. My vision becomes clearer, and potentially my life can smooth out. How does this connect to the Buddhist idea of letting go of knowledge? Let's drive it home, bring it full circle.
And your cup is empty for receiving more?
Okay. You're not going to be able to hear that guidance and do anything about it if you're already full of what you know. It's just part of the cycle, Lucinda.
Sometimes I open and I ask God to speak through me,
Mm-hmm.
but God will not be able to speak through me if I don't clear some space out.
Right. If my mouth's already going, nothing else can come through.
And I've got this knowledge already preset, so I'm not
Right.
willing to let it come through me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good. Chris?
I think our knowledge often shuts down the impermanence. Like, I love the story you told last week about the guy complaining about everything's always changing, impermanence, 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 and
Yeah.
his little 5-year-old girl says, "But Daddy, if without impermanence, I can never grow up." You know,
Right.
so if I know you're my little girl,
Yeah.
then you could be 40 and I still treat you
Right.
like you're in kindergarten.
That's right. Which can be detrimental to relationships.
Yes.
Yes. So I guess the invitation offered by today's conversation and both parts of our service is to be humble enough, humility, to admit that we don't really know anything.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know anything for sure. We put aside all we think we know, and we ask to be shown. We ask for a higher wisdom. We open up to a higher wisdom to show us. Within the all-knowingness that we call God, or Great Spirit, or infinite intelligence, lies every answer to every question that we could ever ask, or have ever asked, or will ever ask. It's in that realm of quantum physics and the infinite possibility. It's all there. And with our consent, it is the Father's good pleasure, it is the Father's will to give us the kingdom. All we have to do is be open enough to receive and then to ask, to hear, to acknowledge, give thanks, and whether we like the answers we get or not, to act upon them and to be grateful, because grace comes in many forms. It's not always pleasant or preferred. Yes?
I just feel like for the meditation, there's a prayer part, and then there's a meditation part that clears the noise in the mind, and then to be good in your listening, and also be a good receiver, not expecting it to show up how you want it to show up.
Right.
But be able to recognize it when it does.
Yes.
And just be grateful, no matter how big or small that gift is. Just
Yes, being grateful for that gift and open enough to see it how it comes.
yeah.
It may come in another person crossing your path and saying something. It may come in a song, in a book that you pull off the shelf. It's not necessarily going to be a voice in your head. Go ahead.
Well, it reminds me of that story of the flood coming through and the guy climbing on his roof.
That's my favorite. Yes.
And the
Yeah.
one guy comes by in the boat, hop in, hop in. Oh, I'm waiting for God.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yes, we love that one.
Boat, helicopter,
Yeah.
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 Who do you think? How do you think I was going to get to? Yeah.
There are
So-
angel wings.
That's right. I don't know what we think God coming to our rescue is going to look like, but, we're it, people. As far as
Yeah, but
helping out one another and making a difference in the world, we're it. So let's close in prayer. Let's close in prayer this morning. Let's get really still. Breathing in, I am aware of my breath. Breathing out, I relax. Breathing in, I am aware of my breath. Breathing out, I smile. In community, we acknowledge the one source of all that is. By whatever name we call it, we feel and know our oneness with it, with our source. And we feel and know our oneness with one another. We feel our oneness with the animal creatures and the plant creatures, the rock creatures, with the water, the wind, and out into the heavens, the stars and the planets. We know that we're part of it all. We give thanks for that awareness, and we allow it to ground us. We move into this week open to greater possibilities, open to greater knowledge, greater insight, open to a deeper faith than we've ever known before. We give thanks for this beautiful day and for the opportunity to gather with our Sangha, with our spiritual community. in celebration and communion with God. We give thanks for this amazing life and all of the blessings that continually shower down around us and through our lives. Those gifts that seem graceful and easy, and those circumstances that grow us in patience and resilience, in character and in love. For we know that grace does come in many forms. In gratitude, faith, and humility, I release my word here and now, trusting that this prayer is active and that its answer is unfolding right here and right now. And so letting it go to the loving and lawful presence that I call God. It is done. And so it is. Amen. Yay. Well, thank you for joining me on that semi-Buddhist journey this morning. It's been really a great exploration in my own development in life. And next week, Cherie will be presenting. And then next month, we're moving to the monthly theme, touching the living Christ. And so we'll be looking at many aspects of that. For now, I invite you to join in the celebration of the work that we're doing, should you choose to do so today, by sharing of your financial good in support of our continuing work here. If you're at home, you can go to our website, which is mysticheart.org, and you'll find a donate button. You'll find a mailing address. And as we offer our gifts today, I say thank you, knowing that each one comes from Source, but moves through your life, through your heart, through your hands, and is indeed received as a true gift. And so we can get up and listen, dance, sing, whatever we want to do, as Michael Franti and Spearhead present Work Hard and Be Nice. Give us the Bible verse.
Everybody wants a good friend when they're alone. And everybody don't want nobody to know that everybody's got a soul with a great big hole in the middle of it. Life's a riddle and we try to solve it. So when it's dark, look on the bright side. And when it rains, wait on the sunshine. Everybody likes getting them good vibes, 'cause everybody's got a heart on the inside. We could take all the hard lessons, that little loving, and turn them into blessings. Don't complicate it, keep it simple. Just work hard and be nice to people. Oh, just work hard and be nice to people. Work hard and be nice. I don't need a castle or a throne. I'm just trying to do a little more right than I do wrong. And I don't want nobody to know that I got a soul with a great big hole in the middle of it. And I'm just trying to feel a little of it. So when it's dark, look on the bright side. And when it rains, wait on the sunshine. Everybody likes getting them good vibes, 'cause everybody's got a heart on the inside. We could take all the hard lessons, that little loving, and turn them into blessings. Don't complicate it, keep it simple. Just work hard and be nice to people. Whoa, just work hard and be nice to people. Just work hard and be nice. So keep your eyes to the skies and your feet on the ground. And if you got a frown, I hope you turn it around. And don't let nobody ever tell you you can't be who you wanna be, when it's dark, look on the bright side. And when it rains, wait on the sunshine. Everybody likes getting them good vibes, 'cause everybody's got a heart on the inside. We could take all the hard lessons, add a little love and turn them into blessings. Don't complicate it, keep it simple. Just work hard and be nice to people. Just work hard and be nice to people. Just work hard and be nice. Don't complicate it, keep it simple. Just work hard and be nice to people. All of us are equal, so just work hard and be nice to people.
So be that.
Yeah,
Are you going to that?
Yeah, so work hard and be nice to people. What a great concept.
was coming and I haven't had a chance to look yet this week.
So I give thanks for the abundance of God that comes through your hearts, through your hands, through your hard work, through your treasure. We give thanks. And knowing that this work, this effort, this treasure will work to serve us in the community and beyond. And I give thanks, and so it is.
It is.
All right. And I turn this back to you, I think.
All righty. So we'll close with our closing song real quickly. Some of us are already next door with lunch.